Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 9th. My name is Paco Ojeda, and this is Coffee and Headlines, daily space where we get together, review some of the latest headlines from places near and far, and have a little bit of coffee to go along with them. I welcome those of you who choose to join us every morning or who choose to watch these daily shows later on in the day. We have a good morning. Good morning, Louise. It's great to see you. So nice that you're joining us today. Kathleen, good morning. Eddie, good morning. It's great to see you all. Today is a good day for a bunch of headlines. Yesterday, as you recall, we spent most of the day looking at learning more about Lopez Gatell, Mexico's drug czar's strategy on dealing with the pandemic. And today we're going to take a look at some of the headlines that we didn't get a chance to review yesterday. Good morning, Candace. So let's get into headline mode because we have quite a few of them. And we'll come back to hellos in a little while. As I said before, yesterday we spent a lot of time looking at Hugo Lopez Gatell, and I found this great interview conducted by Richard Ensor, who is the head of the Economist's office in Mexico City. It's a 19-minute read. It's not very long. It's in Medium, and it gives us even another point of view about who he is, how his work has been like, how we can compare his work to the work that Anthony Fauci is doing in the United States, and how they're both having the same challenge of having to combine or complement the science view versus the economy view, which is what a lot of presidents are focusing on. So this is a really good read. I thoroughly recommend it. Meanwhile, there's been some kind of kerfuffle going on between the governor of Jalisco and Lopez Gatell about the availability of rapid testing for the general population. And this is a great headline from Proceso, in which the federal government authorizes the use of rapid tests for COVID-19 in Jalisco. The kerfuffle has to do with the fact that the governor, Enrique Alfaro, argued that he had attempted to buy a number of rapid tests, 20,000 rapid tests at a cost of 20.6 million pesos. But the federal government first argued that they couldn't import them. They were stuck in customs because they were not endorsed by Mexico's Federal Commission for Protection Against Sanitary Risks. But then, of course, Alfaro insisted on the fact, the governor insisted on the fact that these were rapid tests that had been recognized by the FDA, and as such, there was no problem as to their importation. This has been going on back and forth between our governor and a couple of other governors and Lopez Gatell. To tell you the truth, I don't know the details about this. I cannot tell you why it is that the federal government has been reluctant to let these rapid tests become available for the general public, but they are available now in Jalisco. Our governor, Enrique Alfaro, again, getting away with his own style of governing, which has not always been the same style as that suggested by the federal government. So it's interesting to see how, like in the United States, there are some governors that are more proactive and as such end up either rocking the boat or making sure that things happen at a brisk pace. Whether you are on the federal side or the governor's side, I don't know, but it's happening in our state, and it's nice to know that it is. To that effect, he was here in Puerto Vallarta yesterday, Governor Alfaro, and he announced that there's going to be a lab that is currently under construction in Remance, which is going to be adapted to make these rapid testing happen. This is a brand new annex to the Roberto Mendiola Horta Health Center located at Remance. The building itself is going to be ready on Wednesday, and then it will take about 2 weeks for the local government to set this building up for rapid testing. So these are good news for those of us that live here. One of the sections that I didn't translate from the Lopez Gatell interview yesterday had to do with the fact that a plane coming from China with medical supplies was due to arrive, and it arrived. And now a second plane has arrived or is about to arrive. The first plane came to Mexico with 1,184 boxes with at least 800,000 KN95 masks, a million gloves, ventilators, monitors, and more specialized equipment. So again, it's good to know that these very important supplies have reached Mexico. Mexico's government, like many governments around the world, are challenged with trying to buy supplies from those countries that have them. And again, this is very good news for our country. On another news, The Economist 1843, which is more of a cultural publication they put together, they have published this article on coronavirus slang. Because apparently we're all acquiring all these new words. Some of these words will make sense to us, others won't. For example, this first one, hamstring, which has something to do with hoarding or stuffing one's cheeks. And apparently hamstring is panic buying for beginners. So there's a whole explanation of where the word came from. Here's one from Germany, so we're not going to dive into that. Here's one from China. It's a Chinese expression. And then this one comes from France. It's my French. I don't speak French, but I dare guess that this is pronounced quatorzaine. Maybe somebody can chime in on that. And this would be a 14-day isolation period. And I love the subheadline to the section that says that the French almost make isolation sound romantic. I don't know about that, but it was fun to read. There's one from Italy, Corona Spec. Oh gosh, so in Germany, they're calling people that are gaining weight through coronavirus Corona Spec. And this one we can relate to. A COVIDiot is someone who ignores public health advice. And then, of course, leave it to a bunch of drag queens to decide calling the coronavirus Miss Rona. I think that's really cute. Gay men always add Miss to popular things, says Aaron Lee, a black gay podcaster based in Atlanta. So Miss Rona basically means that it has a nasty attitude or it's a sassy virus. Well, we know it's nasty and we know it's sassy, so maybe we should all start calling it or her Miss Rona. There's something from Australia, more Chinese slang, and that was the whole article. I was disappointed, though, to not find in this article my favorite word or my favorite slang, which would be the quarantini. And a quarantini, I've decided, is a cocktail that you fix for yourself. You add a little bit of being alone, and you mix it with a little bit of boredom and whatever alcohol you happen to have at home, and you end up with a quarantini. I'd love to know what your favorite quarantini is like. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. Then I found this great geeky article, geeky because it's about photography, but I think you'll find it interesting. This comes from, I think it comes from China, and it's a video that shows how through high-speed photography, we can see the effect of micro droplets and how they can easily spread the virus. This is what happens when we sneeze, when we cough. All these micro droplets end up in the air and they start spreading around. And I've watched a little bit of it, and I'm sure that watching the rest of it today will be quite interesting. I continue to be concerned about restaurants. How do you feel about restaurants? Are you guys ordering out Are you guys getting home delivery? Are you feeling distrustful of the measures that restaurants are taking to ensure that the food is safe to eat? It occurs to me that, and I don't want to put paranoid ideas in anybody's mind, of course. I'm concerned about the fact that some restaurants are doing their takeout like they've been doing their takeout, and maybe some of us might need a little bit of extra assurance to make to guarantee or hopefully make us feel better about the fact that the food we're going to eat is going to be well sanitized and so forth. I wonder if this is a concern of yours. I would love to read your comments to that effect because maybe it would be a good idea to help you understand, to appreciate things from the consumer's point of view. Maybe we all need a little bit of additional assurance. And I see that somebody has chimed in, Gail Fuller. We'll get to that. Thank you for your comment. And I'd love to see more comments like yours. Gail, I'll put it up right now so that you can get a sense to what we're talking about. Gail tells us that she is not trusting takeout or home delivery. Not to put you on the spot, Gail, but I wonder if we as consumers would feel more trusting of restaurants if restaurants were more forthcoming of how they are preparing things. Again, I'm not encouraging everybody or anybody to go out and order takeout. We all have our own self defined comfort zones, comfort levels. But I personally, being a foodie and loving to support the restaurants in my community, certainly those in my neighborhood, I'm very concerned about how we can best support a lot of restaurants. I'm glad to see that there's some comments coming in. I'd like to come back to this in a second when we're done with our headlines. In the meantime, I tell you that it is estimated that restaurants nationwide have lost 1,000 million pesos and that 250,000 restaurant oriented jobs have been lost. I don't think this is going to get any better. The question is, and in fact, I think it's going to get worse. The question is, how are we as consumers going to gravitate back to trusting other restaurants or other sources of food aside from what we produce at home? Back to headlines, we have 10 sanitary ideas that you should put into place in phase 3 of coronavirus. This is a little bit redundant, but it never hurts to go through it over and over again. Mexico will enter phase 3, or the so-called phase 3, towards the end of May. They are suggesting, and we know this already, but let's mention it again, washing our hands constantly, cleaning surfaces at home, staying and being informed, following safe distance guidelines, being careful as we sneeze and cough. If we are 60 years of age or older, avoiding areas with a lot of people. Number 7, staying home if you're feeling ill or sick. Number 8, if you're sick, stay at home and eat and sleep separate from the other members of your household using your own utensils. Number 9, check in with your doctor. And number 10, I'm sorry, and probably most important, speak with your community, speak with people at work, stay connected. This is important. I will be translating these, and we are going to continue talking about this as we move forward. Now, this is funny, but not funny. Actually, it's very not funny. There is a development in Nuevo Vallarta, no, in Punta Mita called Los Veneros, and it is now closed for 10 days, as in all the people that are currently there cannot leave. Nobody can come in. Nobody can go out. Why? Because despite best advice given over and over by the government of Jalisco, 2 women that had tested positive for COVID-19 decided they would heal or spend the time in this beachfront retreat against the best advice. So this came to the knowledge of the Nayarit government, which is why the governor in Nayarit has been a little cranky about Jalisco lately. So during this time, there are 220 workers and residents of this place called Los Veneros that cannot go anywhere, um, and they are under constant medical surveillance. And this is what happens when you don't follow suggested guidelines. Stay home, and for crying out loud, if you have coronavirus, well, stay home. Oh, and this is again funny but not phony. It's supposed this news tells us about condoms. According to this news item, one out of five condoms in the world comes out of this one factory in Thailand, which is paralyzed. It's closed. So now the World Health Organization is fearing that we can see a whole stream of sexually transmitted diseases to worry about. But I know you better. I know that you guys always use protection when you're having sex, don't you? But again, we are going to have condom shortage. So first toilet paper, then beer, and now condoms. I'd love to see you shopping at Costco these days. No, I'm just kidding. This is important stuff. You know why? Because we get horny. We get horny when we are in isolation. And this is explained by a sex researcher from Vox. Um, it's still a bad idea to sleep with someone new, even if both of you have been social distancing, this says. And later on in the article, it says that it is okay to feel horny. Being hornier than usual right now is perfectly normal. So is not wanting to have sex at all. I don't know about you, but I don't know. Raise your hand. I've been feeling horny. What can I say? I live by myself. I love my kitty cat. I yearn for human touch. Um, of course, we get horny at Leroy. Um, my kitty and I get horny. I get horny. But trust me, I'm not going to go there, not in the near future, as I don't think you should. Anyhow, let's take a look at some of the comments that you've kindly shared with me. Going back for a second. Uh, Good morning, Candace. Good morning, Mijal. Good morning, Nina. Cesar, buenos dias. Vicky Walters, good morning. It's great to see you all. Um, I don't know why your phone keeps changing my name, but I'm glad that I appear in your phone. John Strawn, it's so good to see you, John. How are things at your art gallery? I'm sure that you're not able to open right now, but it would be so interesting to connect with you at some point and find out how you see the art gallery scene in Puerto Vallarta coming back to a sense of normalcy once the guidelines become more relaxed. French Canadian Alain Perrault told me that my French was perfect. Thank you very much. As I said before, Gail is not trusting home takeout or home delivery. I respect that, have no problem with it. But again, I am interested in seeing how you're feeling. Julie Bunker is not either, but Kathleen is. Fair enough. That's good to know. This is an important comment from Mimi. It does make me nervous. The delivery guys aren't wearing masks, and I'm not sure about the safety of food preparations. Would we feel safer ordering from restaurants if we see the staff showing protection on their faces? If we see the delivery guy showing up with rubber gloves, with some sense of assurance? That's a question for you. I look forward to reading your comments. Paul doesn't think a lot of people are trusting and it's not happening. Um, and I know that Paul has been promoting because Paul runs a hotel and I do the social media for them. Um, I am very curious about this. Gail chimes in again. She cooks. I cook too. Sometimes I love making new things, and sometimes somehow, even if I'm cooking something that I have never cooked before, it always ends up tasting like something I've eaten before. So I do miss going out to restaurants. I miss street tacos. That's what I miss the most. Personally, I don't know that today I would feel comfortable going to a taco stand, and that's just me. But I feel comfortable ordering takeout, although I want to know that it's a restaurant that I am already familiar with. However, I'm thinking about so many other restaurants that I've never tried. I want to try those restaurants and I want to feel comfortable doing this. And I want to make sure that we, as Vallartenses, feel comfortable and find a way to convey to restaurants, hey guys, we want to try your products. We want to eat your food. We want you to home deliver to us, but we need to see some sense of change in the way you operate. Here's another one. We had takeout from Tuna Azul the other night and we did curbside pickup. It was fantastic. That's good to know. Fresh food and delicious. Good to know. So maybe this is a restaurant we can be recommending. Candace, join Vegetarians and Vegan Puerto Vallarta Facebook page. Lots of great in and out ideas. You are what you eat. Of course, we are. Thank you so much for this recommendation. Rita tells us that she's getting trusted restaurants, a delivery from El Rayan, Bonito Kitchen, others nearby. It's good to know that we're trusting some of these restaurants. Eddie, thank you all for your comments. It really means a lot to me that you're watching. Ordering from one place, that's another good option. Let's be kind to these restaurants. Let's make sure that we help them move forward. I know from Catherine, from you being a celiac, I've been to restaurants with you. I know that you're a great cook, and I'm just so happy to know that you're taking good care of yourself right now. But I miss the times in which we can have food explorations together. You heard a helicopter fly in and they escaped. Vicky, you are going to leave us a little bit on the edge here if you don't explain what you're talking about. It's good to know that. It's a tragedy for restaurants. Yes, it is a tragedy for restaurants, especially because here in Puerto Vallarta, it's such a pastime to go out. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in a few months, what happens next fall. How are we going to change our habits in terms of going to restaurants, going to shows, going to all these activities that are so important to us here in Puerto Vallarta? We already commented on that. Yes, we do get horny. Nothing wrong with that. And you guys make me smile all the time, of course. Brian, did you see the post where authorities were going to start cracking down on strip clubs offering delivery? Yes, I did see this post. Apparently, there are strip clubs. I don't know that these are local strip clubs or not because I haven't read this news item. There are strip clubs that are offering home delivery. Well, how is that different from dialing somebody up before? Not that I have ever done that, but I don't know what to tell you about that. But I do have something to say here, and and this is a friendly challenge and a dare to all of us that are watching. We all need to find ways to reinvent ourselves. I will share a personal story. If it helps inspire you, good. If it doesn't, what can I say? I arrived in Puerto Vallarta 18 years ago with enough money to last maybe 2 or 3 months. And this destination has been very, very kind to me. I was very successful running a magazine for many, many years called Vallarta Lifestyles. And many, many other work opportunities have come forth. I've made a lot of friends, have built a community. And just last week, I found myself walking down the beach, as I did a lot when I first arrived here. And I thought to myself, here we are, 18 years later, an uncertain future. I have some savings, but it's an uncertain future. And I thought to myself, I feel like I felt when I first arrived 18 years ago. And it's time to reinvent. For me to reach out to you every day on this transmission is a matter of reinvention. I've had to learn a lot about live streaming. I've had to think about ways in which I can appeal to you and connect with you. So we all can do this for ourselves. We all can connect with one another, find ways to recreate the way we make a living, the way we move forward through this. And I invite you to stay curious, stay inspired, learn a new skill, find new ways to move forward through this. I don't want to keep you all morning. Let's take a look at a few additional comments. Gary Brown has said, donuts aside, I would eat a donut. Just look at my donuts. This is what's happening when I eat so many donuts. Eddie Leroy says, can we hear an amen, on the name of street tacos? Amen, amen, amen for street tacos. We want to make sure that we can continue eating street tacos. I miss my street tacos. Surprised that OXXO hasn't mandated masks. I have seen some OXXOs that use them. Hopefully they will continue to do this. Stacy, important. The biggest thing is the staff wearing masks and washing hands, of course. So we need to find ways in which we can gently say this to restaurants. Hey guys, help us trust you by being more, paying more attention to how you present your food and your services. The chance of contracting virus from packaging and surfaces is very small. I agree with you, Paul. Still, as a client, and I'm not speaking about myself, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm wondering if there is a high percentage of folks out there that are feeling, well, I'm not taking any chances, where in reality, we can comfortably order takeout. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Louisa. Slept in, but is it Louisa or is it Louise? Now you confuse me because I'm trying to say your name properly. And Paul has a very good comment. Reinventing in this time is learning humility and reaching out, asking for help. For a lot of us, that's a hard lesson, but a vital one. I totally agree with you, and I think that's a good way to end this broadcast. I'd love to keep the conversation going about restaurants. Restaurants are not the only business type that is going to be very affected moving forward, but we all have to eat, and there's a lot of great food to be had in this town. Let's find a way to move forward and connect with restaurants. And restaurants are going to be needing a lot of our help as we go on. I am so grateful for your connection. I am so grateful for your feedback. And as always, I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning and the morning after that. Enjoy your coffee and enjoy your day. Have a good time today.